My fellow travelers, good morning, and that, my friends, is the sound of a very dormant No Man's Sky community waking up to the jolting, escalating sound of an update name drop. That would be the announcement of the new update name called Echoes, and this comes on the heels of the 7th year anniversary of No Man's Sky launch, and this reminds me that I've been covering this game for like nearly 10 years now, and I'm suddenly getting very, very old. So anyway, in this video, we're going to talk about all the details that we know. And yes, I know you're probably rolling your eyes because we have no details. There's a little bit of speculation here based on precedent and everything that we know about past update reveals, emoji drops, and things like that. There is precedent. There is pattern to all of these things. I've been covering this game for 7 years, 10 years almost, basically. So prior to launch. There's a lot that we have learned in the past about these kinds of patterns from Hello Games and No Man's Sky. We'll talk about them here. So first, let's start with the name of the update, Echoes, or rather the dictionary definition of echo that says a sound or series of sounds caused by the reflection of sound waves from a surface back to the listener, or a close parallel or repetition of an idea, feeling, style, or event. Now, those were the noun aspects of the definition, but we talk about the verb. When we're talking in reference to a sound, it is to be repeated or reverberate after the original sound has stopped. But now when we're talking about an object, movement, or event, it's reminiscent of or have shared characteristics with. Take that how you like. Now, other folks like Captain Steve, and they're pretty good about really digging deep into some of the nuance around definitions and how those things represent. He was the one to call the fractal update and the snowflake emoji. So that was a great job on his part. Now, let's talk about the representation of the announcement itself. I know a lot of our first thoughts might be that this might just be another expedition. I don't think so. And that is because of the precedent, the history of the type of reveal that this is. It is sort of a sizzle reel video kind of covering the past 7 years of updates, followed by the very end, this sort of escalating orchestric sound of the reveal of the name. There has only been a few times that this has been used. It was first used back in the Beyond update, where that update dropped on the anniversary, essentially, of, I think it was No Man's Sky's 3rd year. That introduced multiplayer, the Nexus Hub, VR, and a bunch of quality of life improvements. I'm struggling to remember the previous times that it had been used, but I do remember it's been used at least one other time other than today, that sort of, escalating orchestra sound where they reveal the name. That bears significance because that means it's a larger update, and this puts a little bit more hype from that, because normally on a sort of lower scale update, or an update that's not so significant as a larger update, like a summer update or an anniversary update, there's an emoji drop. A few days later, the update falls to various platforms, the patch notes are dropped, the trailer drops. That is usually the cadence that we're all used to. This reveal has significance and precedent as well. It's fewer and far between. Something else to recall too, though, over the last few years, there has not been an ARG running concurrently to the reveal of a sort of anniversary style update. That only occurred in the first 2 years for No Man's Sky, when Waking Titan, the big ARG amongst the No Man's Sky community, was running prior to the Atlas Rises update and the next update, which was year 2. Right now, there is currently a smaller ARG running within the game itself that has been hyping this sort of story arc around robots and sentinels. It's been started and running about since 4 months ago, and it's leading into this sort of crescendo of a hype reveal. The No Man's Sky community have been just kind of sitting dormant, watching this happen and waiting and debating and things like that. So it's nice to see some movement finally from the studio. Now, we do have some information on what this detail or what this update could include, and I say could include because earlier in the year, I reported, several of us reported, a leak within the files of a complete overhaul of space stations within No Man's Sky. I will put that up in the cards for you to view there, but essentially it is a complete redoing of space stations. That could be something that happens along with that. The ARG has been talking a lot about a Void Mother since about 4 months ago with the Sentinel update. Correction, the Interceptor update. update. I got my updates twisted there. But the Interceptor update launched about 4 months ago and started this story arc around sort of corrupted planets, corrupted sentinels, talking about a Void Mother. The ARG has been kind of running inside of the game, and the most recent Singularity launch, which is the most recent community update for the No Man's Sky, where this is the temporary multiplayer situation that kind of leads the story along there. And of course, surrounding all of this, and again, this is rumored or more speculated against based on the story and kind of what the lore is talking about, this sort of realm of glass or this sort of darker realm to No Man's Sky that's been hinted, sort of maybe, I guess my interpretation is being run by this Void Mother. Very interested to see how this plans out. It has been a very long time since No Man's Sky has had a giant, juicy, sort of anniversary update to speak of. The Origins update, I believe about 2 years ago, if I'm correct. 3 years ago, maximum. It's been 7 years and like 30 updates. I'm kind of getting lost in the sauce now. But it was a very significant update, very positive update, very widely loved by the community. And so, of course, I'm a little hesitant to get overhyped as to what this update could contain. The lead up and the build up to this has been very precedented, but like 5 years ago. And so, well, more like 4 years ago, I would say, to be correct, because there was a very big lead up to the Beyond update, which we all freaking hated. It was like a 6 months update from announcement to launch, right? I think it was announced in like March and finally came in like August, September. It was a rough wait for sure. We were all very exhausted and hated each other by the time that launched. So if I'm to look at the signs here, this is just conjecture, speculation based on precedent and common sense, right? Being a longtime member of the community in this game and a content creator for this game, precedent is very, very valid to go by. And if we're talking about precedent here, if precedent is correct, the Echoes update is going to be a giant one, a big one, a significant one. There have been other rumors and possible leaks coming from other folks that talk about a complete overhaul of the engine to prepare it for the future. Things like massively created and improved water physics. There's a lot of gaps that other updates over 7 years have created that pretty much need to be filled at this point because they're kind of lacking. They're very foundational features without the house built on top of them that I've complained about over the years. Your hype, always best in check, is always my advice. I have been hurt before. Beyond really destroyed me as a person. And because, the precedent before that was the two big updates the 2 years before that on the anniversary were Atlas Rises and Nexus, and Next. And those were huge updates, significant updates. It was almost like a brand new game. It was that huge. And yours truly has definitely been complaining that we've been lacking a pretty huge anniversary update for the last couple of years since Origins. So love to hear from you in the comments. What do you think of Echoes? What do you think it's going to be? What do we think we're leading into? Do you think it's going to be huge? Always love to hear from you in the comment section below. And as always, love to have you here. And I'll see you in the next one.